And we are live, everybody. Welcome. Tuesday edition of Shoot Your Shot Podcast, episode 11.
Episode 11. What's going on, people?
Clearly, there's been a good amount of stuff going on. I'm clearly here to stir the pot up a little bit with my little name caption, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to smoke. I just thought it's funny. I don't know if y'all heard about what's going on right now with Beyonce and Jay-Z, but
we're about to get blocked and banned, Joe. Joe, we're gonna have to start our own show together.
We done. Let's keep it PG-13, y'all. PG-13.
If Trick Daddy could say it, I could say it. That bitch can't sing. All right, let's move on.
Blocked.
Just to let everybody know, I agree with his banner.
I got no comment.
The Hive. Hey, if the Hive come for one of us, they come for all of us. So,
buddy.
So I just want to real quick. I'm not going to do too much about the Euros. I just want to wrap that up real quick. We had a lot of good games. Italy is officially went undefeated in the group stages. I just want to say that the round of 16, which is basically the next round, is going to start Saturday. There's still a bunch of teams that have yet to be determined on that, so we're not going to spend too much time. There's just the two biggest question marks right now are Spain and Portugal. Both of those teams, who are highly regarded as far as world rankings go, could miss the round of 16. That would be really, really big if either one or both of those teams don't make it. Obviously, Portugal is Cristiano Ronaldo's team. Spain has a team full of stars. They both play tomorrow. Y'all should definitely try to check those out if you can. Spain has the easier game against Slovakia, but they could very easily mess that up. Portugal plays France, which is, unless France just completely, just throws out the, B or C team because they already got it locked up, that's going to be a really tough game for Portugal. And then the last game is Germany versus Hungary tomorrow. So there's 3 games tomorrow that'll wrap up the group stages, and then we'll move on to the round of 16, which is where it starts getting real interesting. That's one and done. So that's that. I don't want to spend too much time on the Euros because we got a lot of basketball to talk. So watch some games. I know y'all haven't watched any yet, but I'm gonna get y'all to watch them in these round of 16 games because this is gonna be the real one.
I'll be there. I'll be watching.
We'll see.
I'll catch what I can, and I'll be honest. If I don't watch them, I'll let you know. If I do, I'll let you know.
Honesty is all we can ask for.
There you go. It's the best policy.
So we're gonna start with the man of the hour, Vic's boy Ben Simmons. We're not gonna let this escape. We had the little bet. We all bet on who's gonna have the best or the worst stat line. And Ben Simmons won or lost that shit by far. So, Vic, we're going to let you try to defend your mans if you want to. I'm going to give you a minute to say something because I have a feeling some slander's coming his way real soon after that.
Oh, there's no feeling about that. It's coming. That shit is coming. It's coming.
I believe you predicted a triple-double.
I did. I was a couple points and a couple rebounds off of Game 6, actually. Game 7, I don't know what happened. His body language says it all, man. If you watch his body language, I'm starting to think it's no more a physical thing. I'm starting to think it's a mental thing now. It's a combination of both. But his body language says a whole lot. Like he's mentally defeated, whether it's social media, whether it's the locker room, whether it's the fans, whatever it is.
It's y'all. It's y'all.
That burger was good too. They put pickles on it though. I ain't appreciate the pickles.
That's who it is.
But no, all jokes aside, it's definitely it looks like it's a mental thing. It just looked like he just gave up. He just doesn't look like he's mentally strong to handle all this criticism, and it looked like he just didn't care to pass up open layups and dunks. That's up here, man. That's definitely up here, and he has to he has to figure something out these next couple of months while he's on this off season. He's got to figure something out fast. What does he want to do? What type of player does he want to be? Does he want to be a facilitator? Does he want to be a Jason Kidd type player where he's giving you, 10, 12, and 7, 8? What does he want to be? And that's on him. I read earlier that he's being babied. He doesn't have no one outside of his circle, but only family members. And sometimes that's not a good thing because your family members are always going to be yes men. Yes, 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 yes. Why are they yes men? Because what he just signed.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to figure. He might need a new inner circle. He needs something. But whatever's being whispered in his ear, it's not a good thing at all. And like I say, he just looks defeated. He looks like he just doesn't want to play. That's all I can say right now. He just looks defeated. You guys could call him a bum, which he rightfully deserves it. But I'm not going to continue to beating the dead horse. It's more mentally now, I believe. I think it's more of a mental thing.
Joe?
I agree with it being mental, but I think the problem started with the rewards before the progress. I always feel like you should work and earn what you get, and he didn't do that from day one. This is what happens when you crown a king, and they're still in their Joker phase. He was labeled the next Magic Johnson, the next LeBron James, the next this, the next that. And I get the comparisons, they saying it was based on him being 6'10", being able to handle the ball and get to the rim with ease or whatever. But as far as like all the accolades, he won Rookie of the Year that he shouldn't have won. He wasn't the best rookie of that class. He had, 3 All-Stars already. He shouldn't have been. You're talking about a guy that's averaging 15.5 points a game, being an All-Star, when you got guys in the mid-20s that's being All-Star snub. You know what I'm saying? So he has 3 All-Star teams under his belt that he shouldn't have been a part of. You got Defensive Player of the Year recognition and best defender in the league recognition and all these all NBA defensive teams he's being placed on. Like, that's the issue right there. When it comes to, like you said, being babied, it's not just his circle. It was the media and the fans as well. When you are giving this guy all these rewards and all this recognition and he's not giving you nothing in return and you still keep giving it to him, then what's the sense of working on anything? In his rookie year, he was a terrible shooter. And mind you, he missed a year in his rookie season. So that whole year that he missed clearly showed you he didn't work on nothing, because he came in his second season and was a terrible shooter. Then won Rookie of the Year. Then the year after that, he was a terrible shooter. And instead of you asking him or making him work on something, you rewarded him with an all-star and a max contract. So in his head, it's like, what do he have to work on? There's nothing I have to work on. So therefore, he didn't go in the gym and work on his jump shot. He didn't go nowhere and do anything. He spent the offseason partying, spending that 30-something million, having fun, fucking models and Kardashians, and that's what he did. And here we are 5 years later, and there's no progress. There's actually a digress in his game. If you look at his numbers over the last 4 years, everything has gone down. His assist ratio has gone down. His rebound production has gone down. His points per game has gone down. In his rookie season, he went from averaging 16. Then the next year, he went to averaging 17 and a half. Now he's at 14. So everything is digressing. So he's not getting better. He's either staying afloat or actually getting worse. So now we at a point where it's like, where do we go from here? What do we do now? When you should have been asking them questions and figuring this out 4 years ago. At this point, I really don't know where you go from here. I don't know if the trade value is up there I don't know if him and MB can work together. I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? So this is what makes me look at him as like it's hard because you should have been something better than what you are right now. And as of right now, I don't see anything working. Everybody says, "Oh, well, you can send them to this team and you can send them with that team," and I just don't see him working with any NBA player because at the end of the day, you still gotta shoot no matter what, no matter what team they put you on, no matter what position you play. Even a Draymond Green shoots the ball and gets his points when he can get his points. So it's like at the end of the day, I don't even see him working with a team like Golden State. So what do you do with him? Where do you send him?
Well, that's we won't get into that. My next topic or question was going to be what's next for the Sixers, but I just want to kind of give my thoughts on this Ben Simmons situation real quick. I mean, I agree with both of y'all. There's no reason we should be or he should be in this situation right now. I mean, we hear players, getting that big contract and fizzling out. He didn't even get a chance to fizzle. I mean, he's always been exactly who he was. They gave him that money early, and I don't agree with it. You should have to earn it. I know the financially speaking, the NBA is a little different from the NFL, but those dudes in the NFL, they got to earn their shit. They got to earn those contracts. They can't, as far as I know, they can't. Well, now they can't get that big money straight up on the rookie contracts in the NFL, right?
Yeah, but most of it ain't guaranteed. Like NFL contracts is always a percentage that's guaranteed, and then the rest you earn it over a certain amount of time. So, it's never like the NBA where Ben Simmons is making $35 million a year, no matter what.
Yeah, that's too much. That's just too much.
Right. Whether he's scoring 30 or scoring 5, he's still getting $35 million a year, and that's the issue with the NBA.
And here's something crazy. I was having a conversation earlier today with my homie who is a Hawks fan, and he was, we were going back and forth. About first it started with Trae Young and this and that, and then he said something that it sounded crazy at first, but then when I thought about it for a second, I was like, damn, he not lying. He said Kevin Huerter is better than Ben Simmons, and I was like, well, shit. Based on these playoffs, he's right, and it's not even close. I mean, that dude. I mean, I'm not a fan of his game at all. I think he's mentally weak, Kevin Huerter. I think it's Doc's fault for leaving Seth Curry on him all game. But he stepped up. Trae had a bad game. He stepped up and pretty much, I mean, he was probably the key factor for that team in Game 7. So to say something like that to actually even kind of make sense is exactly, what we're talking about here. There's no way that Kevin Huerter should even be comparable to Ben Simmons.
It's like you got a pretty girl with no confidence or an ugly girl with super confidence. So at the end of the day, that ugly girl with super confidence ends up looking better and becoming more attractive because of the confidence. You know what I'm saying? This pretty girl, no matter how pretty she is, she lacks confidence. So when she comes outside, she's not coming outside at her best. Even though you can see the beauty in her, you just can't pull it out of her because of her confidence. And that's the thing with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a pretty basketball player with no confidence. And, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Like, I don't know. I don't like you said, it's mental. It's something going on with his psyche. But I think the problem that hurts him is you're still being rewarded. So deep in his mind, he feel he doesn't need to work on anything. You know what I'm saying? So again, at the end of the day, you got to stop these rewards. You know what I'm saying? He has 4 years, 140 left on that deal.
4 years?
4 years, 140 million left in that deal. So now you're asking a team to take this on. Like, like as a GM, like I did a poll yesterday in the group asking, like who would you would you give up a player on your team? Like nobody, everybody was like, no, like I wouldn't want him on my team. So now we at this point.
I'll take him.
You'll take him where? San Antonio?
I'll take him.
For who?
He can have whoever. Don't matter. I'll take him.
You're the only person.
That's fine.
We had over 14 people vote, and nobody wanted that guy on their team. You had 2 people say we'll take him, but only if we're giving up the bare minimum for him.
Oh, you could take DeRozan. I'll take Ben.
Well, DeRozan, I believe, is a free agent.
He's gone. He's a free agent.
Yeah, so the chances of him staying in San Antonio is slim to none anyway. So, but I'm just saying, like, here it is. You got to pay him 30-something million. So now, let's say you had to give up something worth that. Like, are you willing to give up a top-level player? Like, if you're Portland, they're saying Portland, would you really give up CJ for this guy?
Nope.
No,
sir. I mean, and this is kind of already what I wanted to get into. We'll just kind of put a label on it. What is next for the Sixers going forward? Whether it's just with Ben Simmons or with this team in general. Where do you see them going, or the moves that they try to make this offseason? Do you try to get rid of Ben? Do you try to blow up the whole team and start it all over again? Like, do you start with Doc Rivers? Where do y'all see this going?
I don't think you blow the team up. I mean, I think the team is fine. It's Ben. What do you have the faith in Ben that he's gonna work his ass off this summer?
No, I don't.
Doesn't sound like they do.
Right. That's what I'm just saying. Like,
then you move on. That's it.
But see, you can't.
Because of his contract.
Right. You can't. This is what I'm saying. You backed yourself into a corner. Instead of you doing something that you should have done years ago, you waited to the last minute. So it's like I don't see Philly. First of all, Ben and Joel can't work. It's over for them. The way Joel Embiid feels about Ben Simmons, it says it all. His attitude towards first of all, I don't think they were ever cool with each other. I don't think they ever liked each other. I think everything was based on basketball and winning. So that's what kept them together. But now that Embiid is at a point where it's fed up. He's fed up. So I don't think they can work together. So I think the best bet is to try to move on from Ben Simmons. Or if you're going to trade Embiid, I would say try to trade Ben, but who's going to take him now? What are you going to get in return for him?
Somebody will take him. It's just, what are you going to give up?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You will find a team that'll take him. And I said it's going to be a bottom feeder team, a team like a Sacramento or Minnesota or something like that. It's not going to be a Detroit. It's not going to be a top-notch, top-level team that's going to be giving you a player in return. So now that sets Philly back a step because you were there. You went from Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, you're digressing. Eastern Conference Finals to second-round exit. So you're in second-round exit due to one player. You change that one player, you can probably get to the promised land. But what are you getting in return? You do a deal with Minnesota. Like, what are you going to get in return? Are you gonna just take D'Angelo Russell, a Ricky Rubio? Like, is that good enough?
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. With that contract, they're gonna have to throw like 3-4 players in there.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Even if I'm a bottom feeding team, I'm not giving up four or five players to bring on one dude who's gonna disrupt the chemistry, who's gonna be an issue with work ethic, who's going to. He's old enough that if he was really, doing it, he could be a mentor to young players. He's not going to be any of that. You're giving up your future as a franchise for a dude who has proven that he's not it.
So now, and also, Joel Embiid. You're the GM. You're Daryl Morey. You're the GM for Philly. Embiid approaches and say, it's either me or him right now.
It's got to be Embiid because
You're
one's saying
stuck
like
with Ben Simmons. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're stuck with him. You're not getting nothing for him. The trade value is basically done. With everything that has happened over the last week and everything that happened in that playoff series against Atlanta, your drafts, your trade stock is basically done. It's plummeted. It's AMC a few weeks ago. Like, you have no value in anything when it comes to Ben Simmons. Nobody is gonna give up anything for him. Now, you can get a couple of draft picks, maybe a future first rounder or something like that. But as far as like, I'm not giving you anything of top notch. But see, this is what Philly may want.
I'll take them.
All right, but your team really doesn't have nothing to offer. They don't have nothing to give. Like,
maybe that's it right there. We just want to get rid of him. We're gonna take your best player, which isn't much, or we'll take your best player, 2 more players in your draft pick.
I mean, if that's the case, I don't think. And then that's now we go back to Ben Simmons. Everything is mental, or we are saying everything could be mental. Everything could be his psyche. What does that do to his mental now?
Like getting traded, or
you just went from borderline superstar to traded for a bag of chips.
It depends. It depends on the system. It depends on the coaching staff. In my opinion, I mean, I don't think Doc's the best. A lot of things can factor. Sometimes a new scenery might motivate you. You know, they think I ain't shit. Now let me prove everybody wrong. Maybe that might motivate them. We don't know.
I hope so, because I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been saying it for years, and I never really been on the Ben Simmons bandwagon and everything. But
Ricky Williams.
That's
Ricky Williams showed
Ricky Williams was
Ricky was a monster.
Run, Ricky, run, boy! You crazy?
He just wanted to smoke weed. That was Ricky's problem. He wanted to smoke weed, but when Ricky played,
Ricky Williams was a talent everywhere he went.
Everywhere. Ricky
Williams never showed that he wasn't built for the NFL.
Never, not once.
So I don't want to get into that. But now,
hey, I see no evil. You're gonna have to come on the podcast one day and try to debate this one out.
Oh, so you're not talking about talent. You're talking about how he took the money and ran. But he earned the money.
He didn't do that. He earned that money.
And he continued to play, so he continued to earn his money. So he bounced due to marijuana and the weed issue. And look at it now. If Ricky Williams was just 10, 15 years too early, he'd have been playing now, he would be all right.
And to come to find out, as we know now, Ricky Williams also had mental issues that he was dealing with, and he's been, seeking therapy, because I'll be seeing him on Facebook posting videos. Right. So he was going through mental stuff.
That's why he was
smoking weed.
It was helping him out. So, but it's like I said, as far as Ben Simmons go, I do believe a change of scenery is right, is good, would help him, because I honestly don't think him and Joel can work together. Ben Simmons, knowing that 98% of his field goals are in the paint, and he needs to get to the paint, and he needs to work in the paint, and the fact that Joel Embiid is a typical basic center that likes the paint as well, is congested, is clogged. They don't work well together. Simmons is not an outside shooter. So, yeah, change of scenery would be good, and you may want to send him to a team where he can be the main focal point. But now it's so many things that Simmons has to work on. It's not just a jump shot. He has to work on his free throws. You can't be the number one option or the number two option shooting 30-something% from the free throw line. We talking worse than Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard,
Chris Dudley.
Yeah, some of the worst free throw shooters in the NBA history. We're talking that is now you, and you're a guard. So
Yeah, I think Philly has a lot they need to think about this offseason. If I look, I hope I never want to hate on somebody. I want this dude to continue getting his money. I hope that a change of scenery is maybe what this dude needs. I just hope it ain't New York City. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I feel the
I
same way. I don't want to. I listen. The only way I would take him in Chicago is if we are not giving up Levine and Vooch. As long as
Dudley almost died that night.
if if we not giving up Zach Levine or Vooch, then I'll possibly take him in Chicago, because I know he's not there to score. He's there to facilitate and pass the ball and do all the other stuff and get the offense going a little bit and maybe boost the defense. But other than that, I don't know.
If you
Well,
go ahead,
go
Joseph.
ahead. No, go ahead because you got it.
If you can get Ben to at least averaging 18, she okay? If you could get Ben to averaging 18, at least 10 to 12 assists, maybe 7, 8 rebounds, career-wise, I think that's a great bounce back.
Yeah, but it all depends also on because see, the regular season isn't just going to define you. Like, we're talking playoff issues now. The regular season you can do that because you playing different teams. So there's going to be nights where you can go off for 20 to 30. There's going to be nights where you're going to look great because you playing a terrible defense or you playing a team that can't, contain you. But what happens when we get to the playoffs and you face this one team 7 times and they come up with a game plan? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. Like, that's the problem. This is why I say he's gonna end up at a bottom feeder, at a team that has no aspirations of going to the playoffs, a team that's not going nowhere. They'll play their 82 games, win 24 of them, look for the lottery, and that's where he's gonna end up, where you can do this every year. You can average your 18 points a game and your little 10 assists and your little 8 rebounds, and at the end of the day, you go nowhere. Because if you look at all the contenders, you look at the Clippers, the Lakers, even the Warriors, in the East, you look at the Miamis, the Milwaukees, the Nets. Like, you're not going to any of those teams. None of those teams are gonna get better with you.
We'll give Philly Shamit and DeAndre Jordan. Send Ben over.
Who's we? I thought you was a Spurs fan.
Yeah, I'm both. I'm going back and forth.
I mean, again, I'm pretty sure. I think, like I said, a change of scenery would be great, and I'm pretty sure a top level team would take him if they are giving up the bare minimum, like Golden State. Right? If Golden State can give you Kevon Looney and a couple of other bench guys, then yeah, they'll take him. But they're not giving up Draymond Green, Steph Curry, or Klay Thompson for this guy. You'd be happy if you get Wiseman. I don't even think Golden State will give up Wiseman, Wiggins, or Oubre for Ben Simmons right now, So I don't know. The same with the Nets. And the Nets will give up a Shamit, Alize Johnson, and a TLC if you want. But no, I'm not giving you Harden, Kyrie, or any one of those players. So I don't know. But I do feel it's time for them to go their separate ways. I think it's too much tension between Ben and Joel right now. It's too much Ben bashing going on. And I got a feeling it's not going to end. This is going to go on until the season starts, because we're going to be looking for it. You know.
Well, I'm hoping now that he's finally getting criticized publicly, and I mean pretty widespread. I mean, there's videos of people burning his jerseys, which is stupid. You already spent the money. Burning the jersey don't make you look like nothing but a dumbass. But people are upset. So hopefully he will see that and work on his game, and maybe we're singing a different tune this time next year. I just want to remind everybody you are listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast or Shoot Your Shot podcast. There's no the Shoot Your Shot podcast. We just talked about Ben Simmons, the Sixers and their future, and the Euros, and we're gonna keep it moving. The lottery is tonight. We decided we're not really going to speak on it too much because there's nothing really to speak on yet. So tune in for the lottery if your team is one of those lottery teams. For once, my team is not, which I'm happy about. I'm just interested in seeing who gets screwed over this year, and what team gets that help.
The Lakers will get the number 1 pick. Some way, somehow, is rigged.
I don't think that's possible, but who knows with the
If
NBA.
the Lakers get the number 1 pick, I ain't doing the next episode.
Yeah, I quit. I quit sports.
I'm gonna come on here straight angry. Like the explicits will be flying. I'm gonna be an angry Joe. You don't want to see that.
This will turn into an entertainment podcast, and none of us watch TV, so it'll be pretty boring.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on from that, and we're gonna spend the last half hour or so here talking about the teams that matter, the last 4. We're going to start with the Western Conference Finals because that round has already started, and they play again tonight, I believe, at 9 o'clock. It's a little late, but it is the West Coast game. So we have the Phoenix Suns without Chris Paul versus the Los Angeles Clippers without Kawhi. Suns are already up 1. It was a pretty I won't say it was an easy game for them, but they won going away. Devin Booker, he stepped up the way he needed to. So how do y'all feel this series is going to go? You going to get more of the same, or the Clippers going to do their usual thing, go down 0-2 and then turn it on? What do y'all think?
I think the Suns' best bet is to let the Clippers win game 2, so that way they're not in the 0-2 hole and win 4 straight. I think that's the Clippers format. That's the Clippers MO. They love when their backs are against the wall, and they love the challenge. I think Ty Lue coaches better when he's in the hot seat. I think the Clippers play better when they're in the hot seat, and if they go down 0-2. Everybody's going to be talking like, oh, here we go again. The Clippers are out of here. I told you about the Clippers. Playoff P, pandemic P. And then next thing you know, the Clippers win 4 straight. But if the Suns do go up 2-0 and then Chris Paul does come back, now we might have some trouble for the Clippers. But I do think the Clippers win tonight, even up the series. And I got the Clippers in 7.
Sid, what do you think?
Phoenix won by 6. Batum played horrible. Morris got injured. Man did nothing. Rondo, nothing. 2 players in double figures. Poor George, Reggie Jackson. Won by 6. I think Phoenix had 6 players in double figures. They won by 6. I take a lot from that. That tells me that Clippers played really bad and lost by 6. I think if you got something, Morris got injured. I think if you got a little bit more from Man and the rest of the boys and Batum and Zubac, Clippers would be up 1-0. I do see the Clippers coming out tonight winning. I think Paul George is going to have a more supporting cast. I don't think you're just going to see him and Reggie Jackson balling tonight. I think it's going to be more of a supporting cast tonight. I think Batum gives you the 10 to 15 and Man gives you the 10 to 15 and the rest of the boys. But I also do believe if the Clippers do go down 0-2, I do see Kawhi coming back for game 3. I think you need Kawhi back if you're down 0-2. If Phoenix ties it up 1-1, I could see CP3 being ready for game 3. But I'm with Joe, actually. I'm going Clippers in 6.
Mm-hmm. Clippers in 6. But here's the thing. They still haven't came out and told us what's wrong with Kawhi's knee, which to me says a lot. I think it's worse than they said it was. I think even if they go down 0-2, I don't think he's coming back. As far as the Chris Paul situation is concerned, he doesn't have a choice in that. The NBA dictates when he's allowed to come back, which, we already spoke on that Chris Paul situation. I think it's all bullshit anyway. But I do think this series comes down to, can Kawhi come back and how quickly does CP3 come back? Because do I see the Suns winning this series without Chris Paul? No. With that said, I'm picking Suns in 7. I just think, I hope he comes back sooner than we think. I think they said he's 9 days into the protocol, and I think you got to do 14 or something. And they say also he's asymptomatic, so it's not like he's got COVID and he's suffering from COVID and he's gonna have to come back and get his win back. He's gonna be able to come right back in, be effective immediately, and have an impact on the series. Again, I agree. I don't think Kawhi's coming back. I think it's worse than they saying it is. We ain't seen or heard from him since the injury happened. It's just it don't sound or look good for Kawhi. So yeah, with that said, I think depending on when Chris Paul gets back, if he still misses 2 more games, I think it's in 7, because I definitely think the Clippers can beat the Suns without Chris Paul 1 or 2 times, even without Kawhi. But without those players playing, it does come down to these role players. I think it's unfair to expect a bunch from this kid, man. He balled out 1 game, and probably had the game of his life up to this point. I think they should just be happy with that, and whatever you get from him, you get. Going forward, hopefully he can turn it into something more consistent and get him a good contract whenever he's eligible. But I don't think it's realistic to think that he's going to take you, be the one that takes you all the way in the Western Conference Finals. So we'll see. Yeah, playoffs is where you make your name. He definitely made a name for himself, but you got to do it consistently, and that's what we hope to see. Because what did he do last game? He didn't do much.
They didn't give him the chance, though. He didn't get the opportunity. Ty Lue is kind of funny with his bench.
He played 27. He played 27 minutes.
It's not about the time. It's about the shot attempts. It's about the you can't really score if you don't have the ball in your hand. So, he didn't get the opportunities. But in the 4th quarter, when he finally got the opportunity, he had a couple of big shots to help them close that gap. So you could play 30 minutes if you get 2 shot attempts. If you're not scoring the ball, getting the ball in your hands, how can you score? But I feel he gets a little more opportunities tonight. Seeing that the Suns are a guard-driven team, they're a smaller team. I do feel you're gonna see Batum, Man, and Rondo on the court more and getting more opportunities. Now I would say Morris is the 3rd option, and if Morris is not 100% or is not really feeling it, then you go to Terrence Mann. You let him be the option. But I wouldn't call Terrence Mann the 3rd option right now.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He had a couple of great games in Utah, but that was due to the attention being, kind of off of him. Everyone was focused on George and Jackson and Morris as well. So that was able to free Man up. The same thing with Rondo. Rondo had a couple of big buckets in the 4th quarter, and that was due to the defense focusing on Paul George and Jackson. And I also think Paul George needs to relax and allow his team to be aggressive. If they scoring and they closing this gap, don't run down the court and shoot a 3-pointer because you ain't score in a few minutes or you ain't get the ball in a few minutes. Like, if they work and let them work. Paul George was having a good game up until the fourth quarter, where it just seemed like he turned into a baby, and he didn't like the fact that the team was scoring and it wasn't him. And he put up a lot of bad shots, and he ended up, shooting under 40% that game when he was almost at 50% entering the fourth quarter. I believe he was 0 for 6 or something in that fourth, and he only scored 1 point. So if your team is doing it, listen, man, a victory is a victory. At the end of the day, you're going to get the credit. You are the superstar. You're the lone superstar now. So if the team wins, the credit is basically going to go to you anyway. So if your team is helping you and that's what they there for, then you let that happen, man. You let them score. If Rondo is hot, you let Rondo keep shooting. If Man is hot, you let Man keep shooting. He did that a couple of times in Utah. Man finished with 39 when he could have had 40-something. But Paul George wanted that attention to come to him, so he took a couple of bad shots in the fourth quarter, and sometimes that hurts you, man. Let your team do what they there for, and that's help you. This ain't selfish, me. You can't be about that all the time.
It ain't gonna get you nowhere.
No, it's not.
And I think that's a little bit to do with him trying so hard to get rid of this pandemic P, moniker. I think sometimes he might try a little too hard to kind of get that away, but people gonna see through that shit.
And at the end of the day, you're gonna keep the name if you keep shooting under 40%.
Yeah. You want to mess around and shoot your team out of a game or do something stupid.
Right. And then you're gonna lose, and then that pandemic P nickname gonna stay. If they would have won game 1, and you look at the box score and you see he scored over 30 points and shot almost 50%, again, all the attention is gonna go to you. You're gonna be like, well, that's what's up. Paul George carried them to another victory. But now you lose, you go 0 for 6 in the fourth quarter, 1 point, you finish the game shooting under 40%. Everybody's like, oh, here come pandemic P again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you control that narrative, and a win will easily get rid of that moniker quicker than you could get rid of it by scoring 20-something points and winning, as opposed to scoring 40 points and losing. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many points you score, if you don't keep putting them W's up, they're going to keep calling you pandemic P, man. At the end of the day, you got to win.
So we're going to move it on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We got probably, I think it's safe to say the surprise of the playoffs is the Hawks making it this far. I don't think anybody had them making it this far. So we got to give credit where credit is due there. Their series starts tomorrow in Milwaukee, I would assume. How we think this one's going to go, who's taking game 1 and who's taking the series. Vic, we'll start with you.
I'm going Hawks game 1. I'm going Hawks series because fuck the Bucks. So I'm not picking the Bucks. Hawks all the way. Trae Young.
What you got against the Bucks?
Who did they just eliminate?
I don't know. Not your team. Your team didn't make the playoffs.
Yo, show them the hat again.
I can't even get behind that.
No. I think it's gonna be a better series than people are claiming it to be. I see a lot of people saying Bucks 4-0, Bucks 4-0, and I'm like, I don't see it being 4-0. Atlanta has a good overall team. Like, it's not 1 or 2 players. They legitimately have a 1 through 7, 8 players that can put up points. Outside of Trae Young, who does tend to not use his brain and throw up dumb shots, no one else plays selfish. They all play team basketball. I think it'll be a closer series than a lot of people are giving credit. I could see it maybe going 6. I could see the Bucks ending it in 6. I think Atlanta will come out and still game 1 though. So I am going with Atlanta with game 1.
Okay. Joe?
I agree. A lot of people aren't giving Atlanta the credit they deserve. You got to give Nate McMillan a lot of credit. He turned this team around. When he got them, they were 5-6 games under 500. He ended the season. He finished the season, with his record 15 games over 500. So you got to give him the credit. He turned that team around. Fuck the Pacers for shitting on him and, blaming him for what they got going on. And they ain't even make the playoffs. So that's good for them. Also, like he said, Atlanta's not just one guy. It's not like it's just you stop Trae Young and that's it. And they're rolling with a ton of confidence. It's not like, these are shy guys that don't have confidence. Like, you look at Danilo Gallinari, like, this guy's made of stone. Like, you can't get through to him. You can't break him down. He's going to go and his defense is going to speak for itself.
He's playing the best basketball of his life right now.
Right.
On both sides of the ball.
He's going to hit a lot of clutch three-pointers, clutch shots.
What team drafted him, by the way?
New York Knicks, baby.
And then they traded him like they always do. Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of him for Melo, and I didn't like that.
He wasn't the same player back then. He was soft. All he did was just chuck up threes and get injured back then. So, and I was a fan, but he wasn't the biggest loss out of that trade.
So, this Atlanta team is real deep, and they are better defensive team than the Nets. The Nets want to outscore you, and I think that's where they went wrong. And Atlanta plays defense.
Go help out Mom for a bit.
Also, is Drew Holiday going to be up for this series? Because he definitely wasn't up versus the Nets. We thought Drew Holiday was going to show something, and he really didn't show nothing. Middleton did step up when they needed him to, but he wasn't consistent through the whole 7 games. There was a few games where he disappeared. So Milwaukee has a lot of question marks. Tucker's not a guy that I can see going for 15, 20. So when they need that extra scoring boost, who are they going to get it from? I do feel Atlanta has the defenders as far as Collins, Capella, Gallinari, even Herter plays defense. I don't think Giannis is going to have it as easy as everyone thinks he is. He's going to struggle. They're going to make sure they got Capella or Collins on him. He's not going to be able to just 1-2 Euro step to the basket every play. So I got the Hawks. I don't know if they win game 1. You know what? I'm going to take the Hawks in game 1. In a close game. I got them probably 107, 102, something like that. And then I got the Hawks in 7.
So it looks like both of y'all agree on both series. And not that I was going to pick the Hawks to begin with. I'm picking the Bucks, but even more so now because we can't all agree. I think there's 2 keys to this series, one on each side of the ball. Bogdanovich for the Hawks, he has not looked right in about 4 or 5 games. His jumper's been flat. It's clearly he's got some kind of knee issue. If he is not at full strength, that is going to be a big issue for the Hawks because he did hit a lot of big threes, but also his attitude, his passion, I think, kind of took that team over and made them a little better, especially against us in the first round. When he started hitting shots and talking that shit, the Hawks tended to go on a big run, and it was kind of a boost for them. Without that, they don't play with as much heart, and I think he leads that for them. That 1-2 punch with him and Gallinari is hard for teams to keep up with. And if he's not right, that's going to be a big impact for them. The other big impact for the Bucks, Brook Lopez. He's not. I mean, he can't sit down in the paint, but he could shoot that three. So the Hawks are going to have to figure out a way, because Capella, if he's not in the paint, he's worthless on defense. He's not coming out to guard anybody. And if Brook Lopez starts hitting those corner threes early, then Capella is going to have to come out, and that opens up their defense completely and what they're trying to do. So those are two big factors for both teams. And in game one, man, it's tough because Atlanta has kind of both series came out that first game and kind of I say sucker punch, but that has a negative connotation, but kind of sucker punched the home team each series and kind of stole that first game. And I think Milwaukee needs to be very aware of that and not let that happen. And I think they have a pretty good coach who should be aware of that and have his team prepared. So I think Bucks win game one, and I think Bucks end up winning in 6 or 7. I think it's going to be a good series. I think both these series are going to be really good series. But I think, as much as Trae Young might have something to prove, Giannis got a lot to prove, because there are a lot of people who don't like Giannis out there for, maybe not the most absurd reasons, but he does get a lot of hate. And I think he needs to prove something, especially with the MVP trophy that he has. So I think he steps up. 2 of them. So even worse. So you take him, though. You take him on your team, whichever team that is.
On Brooklyn, never. San Antonio, yeah.
So, I think it's going to be good. They're going to be good games, and I don't think we're going to see any big blowouts. But, yeah, I got Bucks in 6, and I got Bucks game 1 tomorrow. So we're going to wrap up here real quick. We did the little vote or bet, whatever y'all want to call it, the other night, and that seemed to go really well. So we decided this is going to be something that we go forward doing. And it won't even be just with basketball. We'll do this for football. We'll do it for baseball. We'll do it for any sport, when the seasons are all going in full swing. So what we're going to do going forward at the end of every episode, we're each going to pick a player, not a superstar player, just a solid B or C level player who we think is going to have the best stat line of the night. We'll also put polls up on the Facebook so y'all could vote and see who y'all agree with, and then we'll let the shit talking commence. So I know Joe had his pick ready to go, so we'll let Joe take his pick first.
All right, well, for tonight, the Clippers against the Suns, I'm going to pick Marcus Morris to bounce back. And if he doesn't play due to injury, my next pick will be Terrence Mann. And in tomorrow's game, the Bucks versus Atlanta, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say John Collins has a great game.
Okay. And I should mention that too. Even on the days we're not doing a podcast, we're still going to put a poll up with each of our players in the morning. So make sure y'all keep a lookout for that. Go ahead, Vic, with your picks.
Tonight I'm going with Joe Harris. Piece of shit. No, I'm going with Cameron Payne. Even though I picked the Clippers to win, I do think Cameron Payne's going to come out and have a good game. I'm seeing maybe sign like 15, 16 points, 12, 13 assists. And for the Bucks and the Hawks, I'm going with JR's pick. I'm going with Brook Lopez. And I also think that he's going to be the difference maker in the entire series.
I like that. I think he's like the perfect anti-Capella. Because, he can go down in the paint, but that jumper is good too. And when he's hitting it, they're going to be a hard team. If he's hitting it, they're going to be a hard team to beat. So for me, for tonight, I'm going to take Reggie Jackson. I think he's been, especially since Kawhi went out, he's been one of the best players for the Clippers, even though I picked the Suns to win. So I think he ends up having a really good game. And then for the Hawks, Drew Holiday, he too good to put him in there. I'm going to pick Joe. Who did you pick?
I picked Collins for Atlanta.
Collins. So y'all both went big, man. If healthy, I'm going. Actually, you know what? I'm going Gallinari.
Safe pick.
I think Gallinari is gonna he's gonna come through and have a good game. Again, going against my pick for the game, but Gallinari, that's my pick. So we'll put up a poll after the podcast for tonight, so you don't have that much time to vote. We have a couple hours to vote. And then in the morning, we'll put up the poll for the Atlanta game. But just make sure y'all keep a lookout going forward for our polls. Whether y'all agree or disagree, or, if you have someone else that you think should get thrown in there, you can put it in the comments. No one will probably give a fuck, but, it'll all be good for conversation. So once again, we appreciate everybody that was here chatting with us. Y'all have some really good opinions and takes tonight. I know we didn't get to answer all your questions. There was some NCAA questions in there that we didn't get to, and some NFL stuff I saw as well. But we'll always try to get to it. Bear with us. Again, you can catch us on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. We add more stuff.
Cable. MSN, NBC, CNN, we everywhere. We everywhere.
Y'all.
We still got AIM chat too, if you want to do that.
Tuesdays and
Yahoo
Thursdays,
Messenger, you name
6
it.
o'clock.
What else do young kids use? SconeX. Remember SconeX? Everything.
AOL
Black Planet.
chat.
Black Planet.
Niente.
Black Planet, everything.
We there.
We'll see you guys Thursday, same time.
Same channel.
Yep, and we'll be here. So appreciate y'all. We'll be back on Thursday. Remember, get these votes in. Go right to the page. I'm going to put it up right now. Go to the page and vote so y'all can let these two bums know that I beat them again. And we'll holler at y'all.
A safe pick tonight. Reggie Jackson, he's averaging 23 points a game already. So,
hey, it is what it is.
Pick Rondo.
Right?
Never in my life. Never in my life.
Pick Cousins.
All right, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take Cousins. I'll do it. I'll take Cousins.
It's crazy. He put up 11 points in 13 minutes, and then Tyronn Lue said, we're not going to play you no more.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know what happened. Ty Lue be getting drunk on the
He was busting Sargic ass, and Tyronn Lue said, all right, that's enough. We don't want you to score no more, so get on the bench.
Ridiculous.
Well, we all know that Tyronn Lue is not the smartest of coaches out there. But
unless he's down 0-2.
It is.
Unless he's down 0-2. Go figure. What the hell?
All right. Well,
good night, everybody. Shoot Your Shot podcast. We out.
Podcast.
Peace.
We out of here. Peace. Everybody have a good night.
God bless.